Hello, my fellow Canaanite family, creepypasta lovers, and all newcomers. Tonight, I give you a story called Sinister Afterlife. I hope you enjoy. I had always lived a modest life, content with the simple things. My greatest concerns were whether to have coffee or tea in the morning, and whether I should take the scenic route home from work. But all that changed in a heartbeat, quite literally. One moment, I was at a traffic light, and the next, everything went dark. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't in the familiar confines of my car, or the hospital bed I might have expected. No, I was in a place that defied any sense of reality I had known. The landscape was a nightmarish collage of jagged, blackened rocks and swirling dark mist. The air was thick with the stench of sulfur and decay, and the ground beneath me felt like it was constantly shifting, as if it were alive. I tried to stand, but my legs felt like lead. As I looked around, trying to make sense of my surroundings, I saw others, people who, like me, seemed confused and terrified. Some were sobbing, others screamed in despair. A figure emerged from the swirling darkness, and even though I could not see his face clearly, I felt an overwhelming sense of dread. The figure's presence was imposing, a twisted parody of what I might imagine a deity to be. His form seemed to ripple and distort, an ever-shifting mass of shadow and light. "Welcome," the figure intoned, his voice echoing through the void like the rumble of distant thunder. "You have arrived at the final destination." Panic surged through me. I was dead, but I didn't understand why I was here, or what was going to happen. The figure raised his hand, and suddenly chains erupted from the ground, wrapping around the people near me. They screamed as the chains dragged them away into the darkness. I struggled to move, but the ground seemed to conspire against me, pulling me deeper into the nightmarish abyss. I stumbled, falling into what felt like a pit of writhing bodies. Each person I touched felt like a broken, writhing mass of their bodies twisting in pain. The figure appeared again, this time standing over a grotesque altar. The sight that met my eyes was beyond comprehension. Bodies were being torn apart, their limbs and organs ripped away, as if they were materials to be used. But this was not for the sake of cruelty alone. It seemed there was a purpose. I watched in horror as the figure meticulously collected the torn pieces. The sound of flesh tearing and cracking bones was accompanied by a low, haunting melody that seemed to emanate from the figure itself. The pieces were assembled with precision, forming strange, grotesque shapes and structures. A voice, as if it were my own thoughts speaking out loud, whispered in my ear, "This is the true nature of the afterlife." God himself is not a benevolent creator, but a master craftsman who uses the tortured souls to build a city of eternal suffering. I couldn't comprehend the depth of the cruelty that I was witnessing. My own body felt numb, my mind struggling to grasp the enormity of my new reality. As the figure continued his horrific work, I realized that I was not just a spectator. I was to be a part of his twisted construction. The figure turned his gaze upon me, and I felt a shiver of recognition. My soul was to be used as raw material. I was to be torn apart, just like the others, to become part of his abominable city. The fear was paralyzing. My thoughts raced as I tried to think of some escape, some way to defy this fate, but the chains began to encircle me, pulling me closer to the altar. I was overwhelmed with a profound sense of despair. The realization that there was no hope, no escape, was crushing. As the chains tightened and I was drawn in toward the altar, I saw the figure's eyes for the first time. They were cold, devoid of empathy or mercy. I let out one final scream, not just for myself, but for all the souls trapped in this endless torment. As the darkness closed in, I understood that this was not the end, but a new, far more horrifying beginning. And so, I joined the countless others, torn and remade into the very fabric of the city that would be our eternal prison. Family, family, family. Thank you for listening in to another Can I Knife Creepypasta. Sleep well, if you can.